The House investigation into the deadly insurrection on Capitol Hill has reached a new level of intensity. The Select Committee on January 6th has issued 4 subpoenas for former Trump associates. The committee is demanding information from former Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, former comms official Dan Scavino, former Defense Department official Kash Patel, and former senior advisor Steve Bannon. The committee says it's looking for information on the former president's actions leading up to the riot and while it was happening. The subpoenas demand any documents by October 7th and even orders them to submit testimony if they're asked. Meadows, Scavino, and Bannon did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Patel said in a statement, "I will continue to tell the truth to the American people about the events of January 6th. Here covering both the drama in the halls of Congress and the legal fallout here, NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Leanne Caldwell and NBC News legal analyst Danny Savalas. Good morning to both of you. Leanne, we'll start with you here. How did the committee come to the decision to issue these subpoenas?
Good morning, Lindsay. Well, the committee has said that they are going to ask people who they think are going to comply, and the people they don't think are going to comply with their request, they're just going to skip that process and go straight to the subpoenas. So these are obviously people they think that they are going to be difficult to pin down. Now, one thing that's really interesting of the subpoenas, it not only requests for them to come for a deposition, but also to submit documents. Representative Jamie Raskin, one of the members on this January 6th Select Committee, told me that while the testimony from these people are going to be important, the key thing is going to be the data and the documents, because that really, he says, is going to tell the story of what happened on January 6th and the lead up to it, Lindsay.
Well, Danny, that leads us to the next question. How much teeth do these subpoenas have? I mean, can you tell us what the committee is demanding here and whether they can get these 4 men to provide information?
We'll notice that they've asked for the most they possibly can. They've asked for documents and testimony, because what we learned during the Trump administration is that these subpoenas don't have the same teeth as, say, a judicial subpoena, which is enforced by the judiciary. The Senate just doesn't have an armed forces or a security team to go out and drag people in and get their documents the way the Justice Department can, for example. So often they ask for the sun, the moon, and the stars, and then they enter into negotiations, which seems strange because a subpoena is a pretty unequivocal document. It says thou shalt bring or thou shalt testify. But in the Senate and House context, it often means we'd like some stuff from you. Please give us a call and let's negotiate.
Leanne, can we expect more subpoenas? I mean, how close can this get to former President Trump?
We expect a lot more subpoenas. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Another member of that committee, Representative Adam Schiff, was on CNN last night. Let's listen to what he said.
No one is off the table. We're going to determine what went wrong in the lead up to January 6th. We're going to find out who was involved, who was knowledgeable, what roles they played in the planning, what expectation they had of violence, what the former president was doing. Among the biggest unknowns is what was going on within the White House on January 5th and 6th at that critical time when our democracy was being threatened.
And we should also expect that members of Congress could get wrapped up in this subpoena request, too, including people like GOP leader Kevin McCarthy. President Trump did send out a statement last night, a long, rambling statement. But one thing he did say in it is that he is going to fight any subpoena for his associates and for him that comes his way, Lindsay.
So, Danny, then yesterday, our colleague Sahil Kapoor, who's also on the Capitol Hill team with Leanne Caldwell, was saying there's not a huge precedent right now for compelling other members of Congress to testify. So for somebody like Kevin McCarthy, what could we see end up happening? And then the last question to you, Danny, is what's the end game here? I mean, we know what kind of information they want to find out, but why?
They want to find out any information that demonstrates what Trump was up to during those critical hours, what he knew and what he was aware of and how he reacted. And in answer to your other question, everything what we've learned about congressional subpoenas is that so much of it is negotiation. So it is even harder to compel a member of Congress to appear. So this is going to likely be an area of very tense negotiations, which, again, is totally unlike the area of judicial subpoenas, because when you are subpoenaed in court, you have to appear. It seems that in the Senate or the House, when you're subpoenaed, It's time to talk.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.